RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. Charge. Sucks though when we turn on the video here because Chris kills the little room thing that I have, and I feel all alone now. I can't see anybody. But anyway, happy Tuesday. Tuesdays taste great. Tuesdays are awesome day around TRI because that's when we get Pennacooks in the after party. Actually, we had a really fun session yesterday in the after party. Hadn't looked at commitments to traders reports in a while. And a big shout out to one of our stalwarts who's on the calls day in, day out, just like a boss. Glass Insights. He was actually able to help me find an updated working script for the commitments to traders reports on TradingView. And man, that was a really eye-opening experience looking at crude oil, looking at the bond market. We should probably do a bit more of that going forward. Really interesting information. But today, that's not today. That was yesterday. So if you are interested, maybe sign up. Hell, you can even do the 330-day trial at TRI and come and check out our awesome commentary. In fact, actually, I think I did 3 different tutorials yesterday. I did a tutorial on working with trend lines and drawing trend channels. We did a tutorial on gap theory, gap breakaway measuring and exhaustion gaps. And then we did a tutorial on commitments to traders and how we can use that fundamental is that fundamental? I think that's more quantitative. But anyway, that research to validate what we're seeing in price action on the price charts. Well, super cool. Today, Tuesday, is CTO day. So in the after party today, we'll have a really nice conversation with Stuart. I always know it's nice because the guy is like sweet as pie. One of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. And I would definitely, when I get on the other side, I'm going to tell the big guy upstairs that this guy deserves a break because one of the nicest humans I've met in my entire life. And I don't mean to kiss his ass, but that's from the bottom of my heart. Absolute gem of a person. So fortunate to be surrounded by all these good people. And they're trying to keep me in line and trying to keep me focused and heading in a positive direction. So thank you very much. So let's see if I've got him gushing. Hey, Stuart, you ready to rock these people's world in the after party today?
Yes, I am.
All right, cool. And we'll get an update on the system. In fact, actually, Stuart was singing us "Take Your Breath Away." If anybody knows that song. And actually, I think we got Meg singing it. Now Meg's singing Age of Aquarius in her head. But anyway, so this has been a bit of a challenge getting the engine back up and running, and I can hear it in poor old Stuart's voice. He's just been like, oh my God, this goddamn nightmare won't end. Anyway, keep on keeping on, dude. I have faith in you. You're awesome. Hugs and kisses. And you heard me earlier say, he's like, I'm so privileged to have these people in my life. So anyway, so look forward to the after party as well too. Of course, we do have for if you are interested, we do have a fundamental analysis crypto portfolio that we put together that's your as sort of our resident smart person in the crypto. We've invested a serious amount of money in these names, and he'll maybe tell us a little bit about what his adventures in crypto are looking like these days, given his return from Dubai recently, and whether he has any new ideas. Hint, 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 he does. That you might be interested in learning about. Super excited. Can't wait to have that conversation in about maybe 20 minutes, 10, 20 minutes after we get through sort of the basic review of what the heck happened here today. again, we had sort of started off this conversation yesterday with sort of like there isn't a heck of a lot of econs really pushing us here out of the gate first thing this morning. So as a result, the markets are kind of in drifty mode, if you will. I'm not quite sure who these guys are. RCMTIPP, Economic Optimism Index. Is that slightly weighting this data set? Maybe it should be like economic sentiment and not sort of tilt the study towards, oh, well, you're optimistic, right? Yeah, you're optimistic. Yeah, you are. Of course you are. I don't like it when I see that kind of stuff. Anyway, point of the matter here is that was our data point coming out of the US today. I mean, very, very light data point. And maybe not so optimistic, a little bit pessimistic, maybe. I don't know. Usually a reading below 50 on these kind of indexes is negative, and a reading above 50 is positive. Interesting to see this IVPMI SA. What the fuck does SA stand for? I don't know. Anyway, Canadian data. I suppose the only red marker that we have on our screen today, actually showing that the manufacturing sector in Canada is actually upticking here. So that's kind of interesting. Again, very difficult to envision things like central bankster bureaus. I think that's probably what we should call them now. The don't call them the Federal Open Market Committee. Call it the Federal Politburo of the West. Same thing in China. We have basically a Politburo that decides our policies. I mean, we're very undemocratic these days in this backwards country that we're in right now. Anyway, point of the matter here is data came in actually relatively strong. It's not bad. It's going to be awfully difficult for central Politburo or dickheads to cut interest rates in the face of this, but we'll see what happens. And then your favorite central bankster crook was part of the Federal Communications Commission. Was it the FCC or something? He was the guy who basically killed the net neutrality. I mean, your friend and mine. What a surprise. He got upped to the Politburo. I never liked this guy, and I think he's he's too young to be in the kind of position that he just doesn't have enough life experience. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's here nor there. This is the kind of guy, he was all rah, rah, rah about MMT and all that nonsense when he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. So anyway, he's speaking as we speak right now. He might be over now, but I did notice the market went through some gyrations there. And usually this is what happens when these Fed speakers speak. So not really a big surprise. We got some sort of back and forth in the market. And then, things just kind of, that's it. Not really much econ wise. Tomorrow, oh God, we got more of these damn. Interesting how they have, well, I guess they fed Kari. They got a bunch more of these Fed speakers first thing tomorrow morning as well. Oil inventory should be interesting to see how that data set improves. We had a bit of a megaphone forming recently. So, actually, you don't even, well, there it is there, the megaphone. So we'll see whether we actually print higher highs and higher or lower lows. Maybe it'll give us some direction out of the crude market. I've been talking recently about how crude, it does look like crude has actually broken. So maybe we are going to see a substantial rise in inventories. And we'd also mentioned that interesting Mr. Hoagland, I think we were talking about this in the after party yesterday, his levels that he was super interested in crude oil actually are falling. Oh, look at that. Crude's actually enjoying a nice update here. Go figure. Actually, kind of an odd day in crude because I woke up sort of, I don't know whether it's relevant to this conversation or not, but I woke up and I really did not like the look of the price chart for this morning. So I was kind of like, I just want to leave this alone. When I was looking at this first thing this morning, we were basically pointing down. Lower highs and lower lows. It was just looking like we were going to fall off a cliff. And, coming into this horizontal support and resistance level, it was sort of like, oh God, where the heck are they going to take this? And I do think that we had been talking about this yesterday. we came into a bearish objective. So the question was, how were they going to try and find some sort of bottom and turn it back up? Did have a level I was interested in here. I took one long shot against these lows, very small risk, got stopped out. Then I had a bullish trend continuation pattern when this thing started to point higher and took back the money that I lost. So basically, today was a scratch day. One winner, one loser, big hurry up and do nothing. And actually, it's interesting now that we are breaking this bearish structure here. I showed you, we did have bearish bought objectives. I had this level in mind, and the question was, how the hell do you get long off of it? And you can see they made it very, very difficult. I did have a little bit of consolidation. So, like I said, I got stopped out on the first attempt to find a bottom here. Made a couple bucks on this rally, and it was basically a scratch day. I think I will be now watching specifically how good old Mountain firms up here, wherever this high is, probably against this candle body low and this tail in here. And of course, there is that original horizontal support and resistance line. You can see I had my I can buy here. So I was, interested on the buy side, just not very fortunate with my timing here this morning. Anyway, it's a trader's life. It's the way it goes. Having a little bit of fun here. This is just a paper trade. As I said, I put sort of a live account away, scratch day, but I like to stay active. So here, paper trading the ES futures took a shot against this failure here. You can see market moving back up. I'm a little surprised I didn't get stopped out on that, but now we're coming back down to scratch. This stock market's actually looking a little bit frothy. And maybe this is probably a better direction we should go in. We came out of the weekend looking at this chart, and gee whiz, it's just grinding higher, grind. I don't know whether I necessarily have a level to like get aggressively bearish against here. I think that was more just sort of like lower time frame stuff. But that's awfully one directional. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of pullback here. What I would normally do on these charts is just simply, draw like horizontal support and resistance, and that, kind of like what I showed you on crude. This would be a good example where there probably is going to be some sort of fight. And notice the pullback here, that would just do nothing more than just bring us back against the trend line and against the moving averages and stuff. But don't really have an outright sell signal here. That was just more lower time frame tick chart trading stuff. Yeah, I'll probably get stopped out on that while I'm talking away here. So on balance, obviously Kashkari's making statements that are moving the market. Did notice that a US dollar came off precipitously following that Fed announcement. One tag, two tags, three tags. If we just completed the megaphone pattern here, kind of looks like it. We got a bit of a double bottom coming in on the US dollar, which should mean that risk assets in general should maybe calm down here a little bit. And if we look at the other side of the equation, in fact, actually, I watch, probably easier to see it over here. When we are watching all of these markets, there's the euro. I like to watch the same thing for that ICT guys setup. See if we break any structure. You can see they're put in one of these kind of harmonic W bottoms. Nice rally against the lows, back up against the highs. And then through this morning, this is basically a 10-minute chart. Call it a Tesla 10-minute chart. We just went and put in, looks like head and shoulders top. So it looks like euro's working its way back down here a bit. I would also say too, though, that I think what's happening here primarily is there's just a lack of economic drivers. And so a lot of these assets are just drifting from W's to M's and just back and forth, kind of like the crude oil market. We topped out. Now we're rallying back up against top end of the range. And as I said there a moment ago, I was interested in hunting little stabs against these highs on the shorts, looking for maybe a pullback to settlement. If we look at the broader market, it's interesting how the Dow actually has an M top working here. So that was one of the reasons why I was interested. But you can see tech, and there's my S&P. Probably get stopped out on that. And the Russell, they're all still pointing higher here. So I don't necessarily think that we're heading down just yet. But it was interesting to see how the Dow actually did start topping out. And it looked like these guys were trying to roll over, but I don't see it now. So on balance, looks like risk is still catching a bit of a bid. And having said that, when do we actually, thank you, sir. When do we actually start getting some econs that we can sink our teeth into? We've got Jesus. Looks like we have Michigan consumer sentiment on Friday. That's forever away. Tons of these Fed speakers out speaking again. They should shut the hell up. Yes, not a hell of a lot econ wise. This is going to be kind of just a meh week. I'm not really looking for a hell of a lot here. I think next week, yeah, we've got things like PPIs coming out next week. I think we also have a whole bunch of inflation data. So, it's interesting because we basically started the conversation off on the weekend on the broiler chicken show, but it felt like it was a dead cat bounce. We're heading into a window with like basically very little econs driving the bus. And we're just getting a drifty market, and the path of least resistance right now appears to be up, not down. So, finish off our free little broadcast here with quick boo at ye old corn. I will say, I was actually a bit surprised. I did see in our lounge here today, of course, and we have a great community for this. Somebody had posted in the lounge. Somebody was doing a commencement speech, graduation for, I think it was Ohio State or something like that. Uh, I don't like the tone of this. This is actually extremely dangerous, folks. Uh, these are university grads. They're going to come out of all of this and be sort of like the leaders of the next generation. And you take it for whatever it's worth. The speaker here mentions Bitcoin, and these guys actually start going, "Oh, not that shit." And they start moaning and groaning and stuff. And I get the distinct impression, especially with the way that this Mr. Fink, I if you went out into the public and you asked 100 people what they thought of this Larry Fink, I don't think that he's going to get that good of a reception. And it bothers me. Keep in mind, probably most of the public, the only way that they know about crypto now is through Fink. And of course, the guy's like, he's just pure evil. I mean, you see the whole ESG shit with what he did with Tesla. I mean, that was just outright evil. Um, and I don't mean to be rude, but Mr. Musk, he does not endure himself unless you are a Musk circle jerk fanatic. I don't think, like the Saturday Night Live appearance and the way that that Doge just absolutely collapsed on the other side of that event. I don't think he's endured himself a lot with the public. And, now he's under a lot of scrutiny over, this X and Twitter and all that crap and, what's happening with Tesla. In fact, I think there's like class action lawsuits that are trying to be formed against him. So, anyway, the point of the matter here is this was a very interesting sort of, you heard me talking earlier about sentiment and things, how we can use the commitments to traders reports to do quantitative analysis. This would be a quantitative analysis point, right? And there will be data sets. There will be quants who watch this and go, ooh, wow, that's a bit of a surprise. So it isn't necessarily like in the tweet that I put out was, for most of the time I've been in this crypto space, it's been sort of like Bitcoin. What's that? I have no clue what that is. What the heck is this person talking about? But now it's like, oh, Bitcoin. Oh, don't talk about that shit. We don't want to hear that garbage, and that's a bad sign. Now, the interesting thing about this is how do you get price to go from absolutely ridiculously overpriced? The silly thing was like 15,000 bucks just like 1 year ago to now, 50, 60, $70,000. How do we get price to actually work its way back down to things like reload zones? Well, I tell you, you get a lot of this kind of societal sort of sentiment votes. And this is good. This might be a high watermark for Bitcoin. Keep it. I was actually very surprised to see this. People weren't like, "Oh, Bitcoin's the way to escape the system. Bitcoin, it's our savior. It's the way that's going to keep all these bankster crooks and politicians in line." Nope, that's not what I heard at all. What I heard was, "Oh, I don't want to hear that shit. Somebody shoot that guy." Oh, that's a bad sign. Anyway, that's more sort of Brian's opinion, not really meaningful at all. In the short term, still think we're going through this pre-halvening pump. Again, Mr. Fink, criminal behavior, the way that Wall Street operates here, to be perfectly honest with you. His whole ETF pump up bullshit. He knew that this rally was coming ahead of the halvening event. It always happens. And he also probably knows that this thing usually likes to top out about a month or so ahead of the halvening event. And I think they totally played the market like a fiddle. Halvening events have come and gone now over here. And I think we're in sort of that post halvening event, kind of the calm after the storm. If this goes the way that it went, I don't like what I'm seeing out of this, though. I'll tell you that much, firecrackers, because that's very different than anything we've ever seen in Bitcoin before. But if this is a normal cycle, and if anything, I'm a little disappointed that this rip didn't really actually clean this market up. But if this does follow through like previous sort of 16 cycle, once we get through this window, we tank heavily, and then we start climbing the wall of worry, and we're back into bull mode. So this is a pretty important little consolidation window here. I still think that the market here, and interesting, and really my sentiment was, all right, now that we've sort of gotten through the halvening event, the post event, now we have to sort of get back to sort of hunting setups. And is this going to turn into some sort of bullish setup? We have one low. Of course, Brian likes to see three lows, and I like to see W's on other sides of trend lines. So if we can put in any kind of W over here over this consolidation window, then oh boy, I mean, you can see where bot objectives are. Way up here, up in the 92,000 area, if this thing does resolve bullishly. But right now I'm from Missouri. You got to show me. I don't believe anything that I see here right now. And the only way that I'm going to believe that we are indeed cranking higher here is, can I please get some nice bullish solid market structure to frame that base and that move higher. And then finally, to finish off this broadcast here today, taking a look at the broader crypto market. I don't really like what I'm seeing here, folks. I'm sorry. The market did break down over here. And of course, you're an idiot coming in on the buy side up here. And I think that we are still very much in correction mode. And unfortunately, this is the time of year when we should be correcting. And this should correct through to, like, I don't know, middle of June. So that's like a month. And of course, his birthday here is coming up here in a few days. So everybody's, of course, reminding me how old and decrepit I am. But at the same time, too, just understand, sell in man, walk away. Crypto doesn't usually bottom until like sort of the middle of June, early July. I find it very difficult to believe that we're going to have some sort of monster rally here anytime soon. And I would say, from this total crypto market cap perspective, you can see we are forming a nice little 3-bar fractal here. If we finish today and then open up and print below all of these lows, and you can see there is a serious floor here. 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row, these lows. If you see the market print below there, left, odds are we probably have to come down and test these lows in earnest. And I don't really have any W's here at all. That's a V bottom. So at best, I suppose, try and paint this a positive picture. What I need to see is, can I kind of the same thing as Bitcoin? Can I please get nice W's on the other side of this trend line? And ironically enough, all this is going to do is it's just going to paint. Actually, I guess we can go off of that high. A test of this level up top here. And you can kind of see it, right? A, B, C, D takes us up top here. So I mean, the great part about Short is he approaches a lot of this from a fundamental perspective. So he's going to tell you ideas that fundamentally look great, and that's awesome. But technically, I'm not overly excited with what I'm seeing here. And, just from one old gnarly market veteran to another, I would be careful. There's not a lot of these are the good quality fundamental names. I don't see a lot of W's here. I see good old Render here is Wing. I think this is also a play on Nvidia. I think they're coming out with earnings pretty soon. So maybe you can play the Rend, but the problem is that this is really expensive. So I would say, look I'm already long, and TRI is long. We're sitting in a very comfortable position right now. So let's just see where the hell this takes us. This isn't to me like, hey, this is a new buy signal. Let's get in there and get uber aggressive. No, that's just not the case for me. So as a result, I'm still very skeptical. I'm a little concerned that actually some of these attempted rallies that we've seen recently are actually starting to peter out. And, like this route here, you can kind of see it's looking kind of emmy. And if we start painting M's again, oh boy, look out below. And of course, as I said here a couple times, this is not the time of year for us to be uber bullish. This is the time of year for us to cool our jets, get our together, get our plans together, get our capital that we want to risk, get the exchanges we want to operate on, get all of that stuff together. And then when you do start seeing the W's coming in at half decent trade locations, you're in a position to pull the trigger. And I'm just not seeing too many W's here yet, just yet. Anyway, that's Brian's 2 cents. Take it for whatever it's worth. Slow and steady wins the race. Let's head on over and have some fun with Pennacooks. That is about 9:30. So let's leave it at that. Have yourselves a great day. We'll talk to you all tomorrow. And I, for one, am super excited to hear how site development's going and how Sjord's FA list is looking, and whether he has any new names that he might be interested in. We put some serious money into his ideas, and frankly speaking, I think Sjord's one of the best crypto analysts I've met in the 10 years I've been in this space. So anyway, I don't know. Have I gushed enough about Sjord here today? All right. Have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. All the best and bye for now.